Ontario's Premier-designate reiterated his message from the campaign trail today, stating his government will scrap the cap-and-trade program as soon as he's sworn in. Doug Ford also says he will challenge Ottawa's requirement for provinces to implement carbon pricing. Nearly $3 billion worth of carbon credits have already been bought by Ontario businesses. So what does it all mean? What happens next? Tim Nash is the founder of Good Investing, also known for his blog, The Sustainable Economist. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start with the cap-and-trade system, because one way we know for sure that he plans to do this is they've already shut down the rebate program. Right. So for people that don't know, businesses bought the credits so that they could pollute. The money raised that way went back to homeowners who got rebates for things like solar panels or energy efficient insulation or anything like that. Scrapping that's a pretty strong signal that this is going away.
Right.
How big a deal is that? Let's start with just that cap-and-trade system.
Sure. So with the cap-and-trade system itself, I mean, it's a really big deal. This is our carbon pricing mechanism, probably the biggest pillar of the climate change strategy. This is where all the money came from.
Right.
So this was charging money from polluters to be able to fund all these other amazing programs. Yeah.
And can we call it revenue neutral when we're taking the money from the businesses and then giving it to obviously different people, the homeowners that were making things more energy efficient? Is that really revenue neutral?
I mean, it's tough to say. This funded a lot of other programs beyond just the home renovations.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues is the social housing efficiency programs. We have these old buildings here in Ontario, super inefficient, in dire need of upgrades. It would save everybody money. That's been axed. The question mark going forward is things like public transit, cycling infrastructure, all of these wonderful things that would really increase quality of life and help Ontarians. We don't know if there is any funding for those programs anymore.
One of the arguments against cap-and-trade historically, going back decades, has been until everybody's doing it, until there's a real market for it, it doesn't really work.
Right.
This particular market that Ontario participated in was a fairly small one in the sense that it was Ontario, Quebec, and California. Was that working? Are those enough participants for this to actually make sense?
I mean, obviously we want more jurisdictions on board, and we are seeing movement by other states. So I've heard a number of states signing on to different initiatives, really kind of easing their way into this program. So it's just too bad, because the way a cap-and-trade system works is such that the leaders are the ones that are going to benefit from it. Everyone was complaining that Ontario money was going to California. Now, that wasn't necessarily true, but as more people sign on to this, if Ontario is ahead of the curve in developing these technologies, we would actually benefit as other states, as other jurisdictions start to play catch up.
So how quickly, businesses pay to pollute, but it also incentivizes them to find a way not to pollute.
Correct.
Obviously, that's the mechanism here isn't just a cash grab. It's to give them an actual dollar figure on their pollution externality costs.
That's right.
Will that stop today? Will businesses stop looking at ways to be more efficient?
I mean, we'll see. There is this upcoming battle with the feds. So now this is the next stage of sort of this journey, is that we're going to have Justin Trudeau try to implement a carbon tax. Personally, I would have preferred the cap and trade to a carbon tax. Now we're back to this debate. Right? And obviously there's going to be a legal battle there.
Why do you prefer one over the other?
For me, the carbon tax is a stick. So it's really about disincentivizing the bad behavior. Cap and trade is about a stick and a carrot. So if you can come up with ways to be able to capture CO2, to be able to reduce it, you can earn those credits that are valuable. To me, it's a better market mechanism, assuming that markets are efficient.
There are some places like gasoline where a tax makes sense if we don't think the cost of climate change is already in that market price.
Right.
Would you agree that that was one thing that Doug Ford really targeted? He did not want a carbon tax on gasoline. Isn't that the most logical place to put a carbon tax?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it was really kind of a no-brainer that what we're doing is reducing demand, right? When the price goes up, demand's going to fall, alternatives are going to become more affordable, right? It's going to shift behavior. This is really what's going to move us towards becoming an efficient province. I mean, you talked all campaign about finding these efficiencies. This is a program designed to find efficiencies, and this is the first thing on the cutting block.
So just bigger picture, we're seeing, America obviously pulling out of the Paris Accord. We're seeing now people campaigning on the idea that we shouldn't try to find mechanisms to reduce our footprint. Is this about like like a dark period for climate change? Because it felt as though we were going in one direction for a while and we may have paused.
Just when we thought it couldn't get worse. Yeah, it is too bad that in my mind this is inevitable. That this change, this transition, it's only a matter of time. What we're seeing now are people trying to dismiss the economists, trying to dismiss the scientists and the evidence there, and really trying to delay. As far as I'm concerned, this is about slowing things down as much as possible. Delay, delay, delay. And really it's too bad because this is where the economy is going.